We have a singular, explicit operational directive for 2026, architecting an agentic AI layer directly into your existing NetSuite ERP environment. We're bypassing the theoreticals. We're skipping the high-level summaries. This explainer is a rigorous technical teardown based on the Houseblend 2026 integration guide. The mission here is deploying autonomous, goal-driven agents without triggering a system-wide rebuild. The ultimate objective? Extracting maximum enterprise value by embedding stateful intelligence right into your existing financial and operational workflows. Let's get into it.
So why avoid a total system rebuild? Well, the day is absolutely uncompromising. Up to 50% of ERP reimplementation projects outright fail, or they blow past their budgets. And we're talking about an estimated 64% of those projects exceeding costs by a quarter or more. That is a brutal margin of friction. The core thesis established in our source material is highly pragmatic. You must layer AI on top of your existing architecture. You never rebuild from scratch. An augmentation strategy is what mitigates the catastrophic financial risks and the system downtime associated with multi-year data migrations.
Listen to this quote. We're moving from systems that execute commands to systems that understand purpose and can adjust plans when reality pushes back. This represents a fundamental paradigm shift. Traditional robotic process automation, that relies on rigid, rule-bound bots. They just mimic clicks or follow static logic. Agentic AI, on the other hand, introduces stateful, goal-driven autonomous agents. They actually maintain memory, they reason through obstacles, and they iteratively adjust their actions across multi-step workflows. Like the quote says, they understand the underlying purpose. They don't just execute a single command and stop. They navigate the entire workflow until your human-defined objective is entirely met.
And the financial trajectory completely validates this operational shift. Take a look at this. The global agentic AI market is projected to surge to a staggering $196 billion by 2034. That's riding a 44% compound annual growth rate. The sheer inevitability of this technology is backed up by Gartner. They project that by 2026, 40% of enterprise applications will feature task-specific AI agents. So you're not adopting a fringe technology early here. You are ensuring your core systems simply keep pace with the baseline of modern enterprise architecture.
Section 2. Deep Dive Analytical Post-Mortem. Let's break down the mechanics.
There is a very clear technical demarcation to understand here. On one side, legacy traditional AI agents are stateless. They're restricted to predefined tools. They have absolutely zero context beyond their immediate task. On the other side, agentic AI operates statefully. It executes iterative reasoning with active feedback loops. Think of it this way. If an agent detects a data supplier is behind schedule, it doesn't just throw an error code and give up. It renegotiates supply contracts, or it reallocates stock dynamically. It actively expands its own toolset via APIs to solve the problem autonomously.
Integrating these dynamic capabilities requires specific structural methodologies. Our sources map out 4 primary vectors. First, you can embed custom JavaScript logic directly inside the ERP using SuiteScript and RESTlets. Second, you can utilize external SuiteTalk web services. This leverages mature SOAP or REST protocols to decouple AI logic from your codebase. Third, you can deploy custom integration platforms, think Celigo or MuleSoft, to trigger actions. And finally, for those knowledge-intensive tasks, you can architect retrieval-augmented generation pipelines. This means exporting NetSuite data into external vector databases like Milvus to ground your large language models strictly in your own proprietary data. Now, the crucial mechanism here is how NetSuite handles this connectivity natively. Enter the SuiteScript N/LLM module. This is a native generative AI API that enables custom JavaScript to send prompts directly to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure generative AI services. Why does this matter? It provides a direct, highly secure line between your ERP's internal business logic and enterprise-grade large language models. It literally allows your developers to invoke language models to auto-summarize data, categorize text, or extract fields, all securely within existing SuiteFlow operations. But what about complex enterprise workflows? Single monolithic agents are going to fail there. You require a multi-agent orchestration flow. In this architecture, you have a master coordinator agent. It maintains the shared context and decides the macro next steps, delegating out to specialized workers. A data agent queries NetSuite for late invoices using SuiteTalk SOAP. An analysis agent deploys machine learning to flag unusual financial variances. Then, a task agent steps in to execute routine actions, like notifying approvers or moving cleared entries by calling SuiteScript RESTlets. This distributed orchestration is how you scale intelligence safely across the entire enterprise.
Section 3. The hidden friction and structural factors.
Technology dictates capability, for sure, but governance dictates survival. So how do we prevent goal hijacking and model drift? This is the extreme threat of autonomy. Think about it. An overzealous, unchecked agent with write access could block critical financial processes. It could execute destructive inventory actions or hallucinate a single data point that completely derails a supply chain. Autonomy without extreme governance isn't an upgrade, it's an active enterprise threat.
So defensive architecture is absolutely required to neutralize that threat. These mandatory governance protocols are non-negotiable. First, you must enforce identity and access management by binding every agent to a specific NetSuite role. Treat the agent exactly like a human user with highly restricted permissions. Second, your security information and event monitoring dashboards, your SIMs, must be explicitly tuned to flag agent anomalies or unauthorized API calls. Third, human-in-the-loop exception handling has to remain for high-stakes decisions. And finally, you have to generate immutable audit trails. Utilize system memo fields to definitively stamp every single action automated by the AI layer.
Functionally, this strict governance creates a hard operational boundary. NetSuite remains your immutable system of record. It governs the core data, the absolute accounting truths, and the rigid compliance workflows. But the new agentic layer, that functions exclusively as a system of outcomes. It handles the iterative reasoning, the dynamic decisions, and the autonomy to pursue goals. However, it is always subordinate to and strictly constrained by the system of record.
Section 4. Tactical Action Plan and System Gates. Let's look at the deployment path.
Understanding the architecture is only step 1. Step 2 is disciplined execution. Here is your highly secure deployment path for 2026. Gate 1. Define tightly governable objectives. Target high-impact, rule-heavy processes like the financial close or your procure-to-pay workflows. Gate 2. Ensure data readiness. Use Suite Analytics to aggressively audit the data quality the AI will be ingesting. Gate 3. Assemble the stack. Select your large language models and orchestrators, whether that's Oracle AI Agent Studio or an open-source framework. And Gate 4. Prototype and iterate. Build secure REST-lib prototypes in a NetSuite sandbox environment. Evaluate the outputs and refine those prompts long before you ever expose production data. And grounding this execution in hard data completely proves the return on investment. In one documented case study from our sources, a distributor utilizing AI demand forecasting decreased their inventory carrying costs by an aggressive 18%. Autonomous agents analyzing historical sales data across unified ERP schemas can optimize reorder points far faster and infinitely more accurately than manual human calculations ever could.
The macro business impact extends heavily into the finance department as well. Gartner explicitly predicts that embedded AI in cloud ERPs will drive a 30% faster financial close by 2028. How? By utilizing agents that learn from prior cycles to automate reconciliations, detect anomalies, and process routine data transfers. Organizations can completely collapse that month-end bottleneck. Mathematically, this frees your financial human capital for strategic, forward-looking analysis instead of retroactive data entry.
To achieve this massive scale of efficiency, enterprise leadership has to undergo a profound cultural paradigm shift. As the Fortune CFO survey highlighted, leaders will need to move beyond pilots and start treating AI as real team members. These are digital, autonomous employees. They take on tangible work, they drive operational outcomes, and because of that, they require the exact same level of careful onboarding, access restriction, and continuous performance review as your highest-level human staff. Which brings us to the ultimate strategic reality. If augmented human AI capital is the absolute new competitive edge in the enterprise sector, the timeline for adoption is rapidly compressing. The technology stack exists today. The native APIs are live right now. The governance frameworks are heavily documented. The only remaining variable is your internal execution. So how quickly can your enterprise adapt its system of outcomes to orchestrate this intelligence before market forces render your manual processes entirely obsolete? Packaging blueprint, thumbnail and on-screen visuals. Thumbnail text hook, do not rebuild ERP. Thumbnail visual concept, a minimalist high-contrast layout featuring a dark, textured background like brushed metal or server rack shadows. The single sharp focal element is a glowing neon blue holographic lock or fragmented database icon superimposed over a faint, grayed-out Oracle NetSuite logo. Key graphic assets. Asset 1. A multi-agent orchestration flowchart to overlay the voiceover during slide 9, showing a coordinator agent delegating tasks to a data agent, analysis agent, and task agent via SuiteTalk APIs. Asset 2. A visual system diagram of a retrieval augmented generation RAG pipeline querying a vector DB Milvus to translate natural language into SuiteQL queries for use during slide 7. Asset 3. A UI mock-up graphic of a CM dashboard flagging an unauthorized agent action to visually anchor the governance warnings during slide 12.